like love, 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 and music. La la la, love, 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 and music. Love, love.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This is our review for part 2 of Surviving R. Kelly documentary that is on Lifetime. It is a 6-part docuseries. Part 3 and 4 comes on tomorrow, and then part 5 and 6 comes on Saturday. 6 hours. 6 hours. But I mean, hour 1 was like, anyway, let me start because it's just a lot. Hello. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This is Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, which is on Lifetime. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and become a J-Bird. You know I love all my J-Birds. Do not forget to also like, comment, and share this video. To hit the notification bell so that you know when I have new content up. Okay, you can follow me on social media, on my IG, shop my Teespring merchandise, and all that good stuff. All that good stuff. R. Kelly, on part 2, and this is the picture they put up that it was on the thing, and I'm like, it just looks so menacing if you ask me. But it is what it is. So this particular episode starts off with his brother Bruce, who was in prison, okay? And we quickly realize why Bruce is probably in prison, okay? Bruce comes up and says, my brother likes younger women. People have fantasies, you know what I'm saying? I like older women, you know what I'm saying? People have a preference. His preference is younger women. What is the big deal with my brother? I say that is why you are in prison. Because you think there's, who knows why you're in prison, but you think there's nothing wrong with your brother fucking kids? Like, he don't like younger women. He likes younger girls, okay? He likes, and I'm looking at this picture. He likes children, 14, 15, 16. He likes kids. It's the difference. If you are 27, because that's the time back in there we was doing whatever. If you 27 and like 20-year-olds, okay, that's a little bit younger. I mean, she legal though, okay? If you 36 like me, I'm about to be 37, like me, and now maybe like a guy that's 25, he's legal. That's a younger guy. But if I'm 36 and I'm talking to somebody that's 16, I'm a pedophile. Your brother is a pedophile. P is the word for today. P, pedophile, Pied Piper, R. Kelly, all mixed in one, okay? Anyway, I'm like, he was just stupid, okay? We even see the music producer friend guy, Craig. Hey, Craig, what you doing, Craig? Brings up how, I would be at the studio with R. Kelly. Y'all know I'm be out the frame sometimes. I would be at the studio with R. Kelly sometimes. And, I would see things that I didn't like. And, I would see, in this one particular time, it was girls everywhere. In every room, the lights would be off, and they would just be in there waiting. And he was like, and they all looked like teenagers, okay? In different rooms, in the dark, just waiting. Like, just like, la, 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 la. You know what I'm saying? Easy L type of waiting or whatever. And he like him saying they were just all over the place waiting, and it was kids. And I'm looking like, but again, Craig said on another occasion on episode 1 how he seen this at like the house or whatever. Now you say you saw it also at the studio, but I'm like, Craig, you ain't never say shit. You ain't never, like, the fact that Craig never questioned it, the fact that Bruce feels like there's nothing wrong with it, that's what's wrong with society. It's nothing wrong with liking younger women if you are an older man. However, you can't like children. Okay? What's the word of today? The letters P for what? Pedophile. Pied Piper, R. Kelly, all wrapped up into one. It was just, I'm like, this is why it has to be why his brother is in jail. Because I'm like, what's wrong with that? He like, that's his preference. I'm like, anyway, we see Lizette. Lizette again is a woman, a girl. He met, she was 17 years old, and when they met, and she met him at the mall. She brings up how the first time she had sex, period, was with him, and having sex with him for different reasons did not seem natural. Now, I don't mean if he did some just out the blue stuff. I don't know. I'm hungry. I need this little snack. Got some walnuts. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. You can't eat real food this late. Anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. Um, I'd be so random. So again, she says sex with him was not natural. So we don't know if that means again he was into some freaky things, or she knew sleeping with this older man wasn't right. So she said, but for her, oh, that was good. For her, she thought he would help her with her career, but he never did. But that's what she thought he was going to do. So she said he would tell me that like I would come to meet him or whatever, and like at a hotel, and he would like leave me there, and he would tell me if I leave, he would have people follow me, and they would know that I left, and they would tell him whatever I was doing. They would tell him what I was doing, so he would always know what I was doing. She said so that would like scare me, so I wouldn't leave. She's like, but he would be gone for days. He would leave me there and be gone for days, and he would come back just for sex. Like it was like, all kind of sexual and mental abuse that he would do, whatever. She brings up how he was basically just using these kids for their bodies to have sex with them, but also, promising them the world. Like, I'm gonna make you a star, I'm gonna work with you, we're gonna do music or whatever. And again, it's R. Kelly. It's R. Kelly. And you're a teenager. You're like, I want to be famous. And maybe this is what I have to do to get that. So, because he's dealing with younger girls. Okay? She also says how he told her she is only supposed to look at him. She can't look at other people. She can't talk to other people. You know what I'm saying? And she says from that, she got scared. She said because she was looking at someone else, and he saw her either look at someone else or speak to someone else, which she wasn't supposed to do. So he took her outside and slaps her and said, "Don't you look at nobody else or talk to nobody else. You just talk to me and look at me." And again, she's like, I got more and more fearful. You know what I'm saying? She says at that point she didn't even know that he was wholeheartedly married, had a whole wife. Truth be told, no tea, no shade, all tea, all shade. I didn't know R. Kelly was married back then. R. Kelly being married was not a random fact to be known. Like, no one knew he was married until I want to say around the time the trial stuff started happening. But, like, it wasn't a common knowledge thing. It probably was known in the industry, in the small circles or whatever, but no one knew it was a whole Mrs. Kelly. Did not know. You know what I'm saying? She says how back then she was told to call him daddy. She had to ask to leave a room. She had to get permission to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. He would make her perform sexual acts while his friends watched. I said, oh my God. Again, at this point, she's 17, 18 years old. She then says, I ended up getting pregnant by him. But I ended up having a miscarriage. She says from that, she's like, I ended up having a miscarriage. And then we talked about it, and he wrote the song "You Are Not Alone," which was um um Michael Jackson. You are not alone. I am here with you. So if that song. And she said he told her he wrote that for her, meaning she ain't alone. He wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff or whatever. I'm like, well, okay. She then said that she caught mono from him, which turned to something else. She down there died, was in the hospital, a whole ordeal or whatever. And she said all he did was gave her mama $1,000. and that was it. But wasn't like there for her where she thought they were a thing. She realized we not, and he don't care about me or whatever. And she said for her that was her last straw. And then she said, you know what I'm saying, I just kind of left him alone or whatever, and I didn't want to be a victim anymore. So, I just moved on. I was like, that's sometimes what you have to do. You have to realize that he a piece of shit. He's a whole pedophile. Oh my God. Anyway, next up, we see his wife. Okay, Andrea Kelly. Andrea Kelly. She met him when she was 19 years old. Y'all know she's a dancer, okay? She's a bad dancer. She, bad isn't good. She's really, really, really good. She's these these intricate moves. She's always been bomb, if you ask me. So she was a backup dancer for him back in the day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now his prison brother, and that's what I'm gonna call him, his prison brother. The prison brother says how he was surprised that Robert married Andrea simply because she wasn't what he was used to. She wasn't his type. I feel like that meant because she was too old. Because she met him at 19, so they probably got married at like 20 some. He like 14, 15-year-olds or whatever. He also brings up how they secretly got married. You know what I'm saying? Meaning his family wasn't there, her family wasn't there. And he said he also feel like she probably wanted her family there, but Robert didn't. It was a whole secret. You know what I'm saying? He brings up how um no, she then talks about how her and Robert got together, how, she met him on, working on a tour, whatever. He seemed so nice and sweet or whatever, and he started opening up to her a little bit more or whatever. He shared with her how he couldn't read or write and asked her if she can help him, which made her feel like, oh, he's being vulnerable with me. Oh, he wants me to help him. Oh, he's showing me this loving side that no one really gets to see. This is, oh, you know what I'm saying? But that's what manipulators do. They show you sides of themselves to pull you in and get you sucked up into their love web. And you be confused and dazed and bamboozled and ignorant. And next thing you know, you in a living hell. Okay? And that's what it was. She says for her, when he did that and kind of opened up to her, she said, I felt, I'm a nurturer by nature. And so I wanted to be there for him. I did not want to be another person that kind of let him fall by the wayside and be this grown man who's illiterate, can't read and write, and I ain't gonna help him. So that's how their thing started off. So I let him in. I let him in. It was amazing in the beginning. She brings up how the wedding was a surprise. She said we took a trip to Colorado, and he had planned a whole wedding, had a cake, had everything planned or whatever. And she said she thought about it to where it wasn't. It was showing his controlling side, meaning how do you know I didn't like my family not here? I don't have no dress, that I picked out. He did all these things because he's controlling, and he wants to control the entire situation. To not even tell me until we got there to the venue that, oh, we get married today. Mm-hmm. It's fine. This was happening. And no one was there for her. So she's like, I'm saying? That was kind of crazy. So we do see them talking about how he would write different songs or whatever about his life. And he was kind of hiding things in plain sight. I live in the age ain't nothing but a number. His Sex Me song, the down low song. You know what I'm saying? Even his persona, how he was on stage, having all the women around, being the Pied Piper, you know what I'm saying? All these things was him kind of hiding things in plain sight. He has all these women around and being so sexual, whatever. It's because that was him hiding in plain sight. He doing all of this plus more with children. Hiding in plain ass sight. Oh, nasty ass. Andrea says for her, when they were on tour, when she was a dancer with him, he ran the tour like a dictatorship. You know what I'm saying? She says like no one was supposed to or was allowed to mix and mingle with the others. Meaning if you were a dancer, you with the dancers. If you was a singer or a backup singer, whatever, you with the singers. If you was the band, you with the band. If you a dancer, or or if you would, it was just completely separate. Okay, everything was separate. She said she feels like he did that so that he was able to move and maneuver and do things, and no one was the wiser because you wasn't allowed to. If you want dance, he messing with you, but he also fucking the singer. You don't know. You want to know why? Because the dancer and the singer ain't talking, ain't no conversations. So he was able to do things, and no one kind of knew what was going on because that's how he ran his shit. He was a dictatorship. She brings up how he was a complete control freak. And she says, slowly but surely, this, I'm saying, great person who I came to know, his other side came seeping out slowly but surely. And, I'm saying, I realized he's a whole ass monster. Okay? You a monster, bro. You a whole little monster. She brings up how she feels like he has a God complex. And, everything had like a consequence to it if someone did something differently than what he wanted them to do. Okay, like not calling him daddy, by like if they did not ask to leave the room, if you wearing clothes he did not approve, all these little things that it will be a consequence to if you didn't do it how he wanted it done. I'm looking like all these same stories. Okay, now we do know because for a long time we didn't really see that's the color I picture, but whatever. We didn't see too many pictures of them together, but I'm like, they really had a whole ass marriage or whatever out in these streets. But again, no one really knew who she was. I know I'm on the frame. No one knew who she was until after they broke up, after the whole Aaliyah thing, after the whole sex tape thing, after all of that happened, is when people figured out he has a wife and kids. And again, it was not something that was very much so common knowledge. And that was the crazy part, that he was able to have this whole life with these two lives, if you think about it, this married life and this sexual deviant life with these children that no one knew about. And I'm like, girl, we just didn't know. We did not know. So the next conversation person that we see to talk is the artist Sparkle. And I'm going to move Sparkle to this side before I even pull it up. So Sparkle, if y'all don't know, Sparkle, you remember Sparkle, right? Singer, you know what I'm saying? Whole little singer. So she was a singer. She brought up, R. Kelly was like her mentor. He took up on his wing. You know what I'm saying? He helped her do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So she brings up how I will always be hanging out with him or whatever. And at the one time, we was at the house, and we was sitting there watching, doing whatever, and I kept hearing like a knock, 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 whatever. She said, but I don't think I'm going crazy because I hear it and no one's flinching about this knock, knock, knock. And she said that something kept knock, knock, knocking. She said, finally, I said, you don't hear somebody knocking? And the person knocked again. He said, what? You know what you want? She said, his wife, Drea, peeked her head in. His wife was knocking and was being ignored while he was up in there sitting around chilling out with Sparkle. She says not Sparkle. She says Drea asked, "Can I come in and get some food? Can I go get something to eat?" Was asking, can she go get, like wasn't saying, "Babe, I'm hungry. I'm going to get something to eat," or the fact that she was knocking to come get his attention to ask to go get food. Probably food from the kitchen. Okay, I'm like, bitch, what? Okay, they then asked Andrea, there are rumors and people who have said that you were basically like locked up, held captive, or just like you can't go nowhere. You was just being held captive, basically. She says there are things he put me through and things that I did and things that I went through that I won't even speak on. Oh, I believe her. I believe her. And I feel like the reason she probably won't speak on certain things is because he still is their kid's father. And I feel like she's like, I'm going to let enough out to say what happened, but it's some things I won't let out. Because we know she was on The View when she was on The View, either on The View or Sister Circle, when she spoke about he tied her up in a hotel and the hog tied her in the bedroom and went to sleep with her being hog-tied. And she had to kind of wiggle her way out of being hog-tied. I say, ooh, Lord Jesus, okay? She brings up, and this is Andrea, not Sparkle. Andrea says how he would flip out about the littlest things. You know what I'm saying? He would call her stupid because she either did not know how to do something or whatever. And she like, he wouldn't just say, like, you need to learn this, or, you did it wrong. He would say, why are you so stupid? And she's like, why am I dumb? Because I don't know how to do something. Like, that don't make me stupid. I'm like, what, you can't even read. You the dummy. Okay, dummy is what I would say, but different. Anyway, she said he would flip out if she didn't make the pancakes right, if the milk was too cold, if the milk wasn't cold enough, and there's all these little weird things that he would just kind of flip out about. She said it got to the point where I was just trying to please him, to stop him from being, the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? And get back to the guy who asked me to teach him to read, and I was like, damn it, man. Just damn it. We do see Prison Brothers say how he noticed after they got married that Andrea got really quiet. And she probably did that because that's how Robert liked people. You know what I'm saying? So she basically conformed to what he liked. So, Sparkle tells her story, okay? And, which I don't, let me not be nice. Sparkle says how she has been around since the beginning. Back in the day, the beginning. And how he was her mentor again. This is my thing. She had that song, Be Careful, that him and her did or whatever. She says the song was initially her song, but it was his idea because he was so controlling. She says he thought of the video, the concept, what to wear, how to sing, how to walk, the whole thing was all him. Because again, he's very controlling. She brings up how he did not allow anyone to speak to her. But she said she did not know this. She said, I was always polite and speaking to people. And I kept wondering, like, why is nobody speaking back to me? Come to find out because he told them, don't talk to her. And people knew how he did things. She says, I ain't that kind of person. He can't run me. He can't control me or whatever. That ain't me. Even if it's other women that he deal with, that ain't how I roll. Okay. She brings up how, to spite him, I would just speak to people just to piss him off. Okay. I would just do that because, what I'm saying? I don't have time for him trying to control who talks to me or whatever. I'm going to leave it at that for her right now. Because in a minute, somebody else came up. So we then meet Lisa. So this is Lisa. Lisa met him when she was 17. Okay, I love her hair. She says that her friend was going to a video shoot that he was doing with him and Keith Murray. And, the friend couldn't go by herself, so she went with her or whatever. They went together. So she says when she got there, she said she thought she was one of the youngest people there. And so she was surprised when out of all the adults at the party, he wanted to talk to her. R. Kelly wanted to talk to her. And they showed like little clips of her like in the video dancing or whatever. So, she says they went out and sat around and was talking and, he asked how old she was and she said 17. And then she said to her surprise when she told him her age, he said, you think your mom wanted you to come to Chicago? And she's like, I thought that he would not be interested because I'm so young, but he wanted me to come to Chicago. And she says, I was just shocked. She said, so at the video shoot, we then went back to his tour bus because he was shooting the video, whatever. And she said, I had on whatever little fancy clothes and whatnot. And so he made me take off my fancy clothes. And she said that turned into oral sex or whatever, and he had me stay on his tour bus in his t-shirt, and he would come back and forth between scenes of the video shoot or whatever. She says, and then when it was over, he told her go right home or whatever, and she had his number. Said she didn't call him for a month. It was like a month later that she called him, and she then went to visit. She said even though her mom was like, what is you doing? She said, my mom, also know I was going to go regardless. And I said, well, okay. So when we asked what was the parents, this parent knew what was going on. But, 17, 18 years old is a completely different thing than 14 to 15. I remember when I was 17, I thought I was grown too. I was talking to my friend's brother who was 30 at 17. My parents had no idea. And when they found out, they was pissed off. Okay, when they found out once I was 18. But again, I was 18. They were still pissed off and they still would cuss him out. But they couldn't force me not to talk to him, so I can kind of get this. I didn't go live with them or whatever. Like, I was still living at home, working, and all that stuff. But I still like talk to the older guy, because I was 17, about to turn 18. But he was, anyway, it's not about me. So she said that she then went to go visit him. So I went back and forth. I would visit like once, I would come back home. I visited the second time, came back home. Like the third time I went, I just kind of never went back home. And I was there at the studio because it was not ready to leave the studio, because the studio had bedrooms in it. R. Kelly had a studio with bedrooms in it. And not only that, there was a bed like in the studio where you would record at. It was a queen size bed. She said, so for her, I thought I was the girlfriend because I was always there. I didn't go home and I was just there with him. She said her mom would then call her, whatever. She said what she did not know was her mom would call and they would ask R. Kelly first if the mama could talk to the daughter. Sometimes he would not let them talk, and sometimes he would. She said she only knew that because the time she did talk to her mom would say, I've been trying to call you for however long, and I kept getting run around like, I don't know. And she like, well, I don't know, ma. Couldn't find out. Of course, he was fielding the phone calls. So her mom, like, I would just be upset about it or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I just didn't think about it. I'm like, cool. We see that whole thing. Now, the last parts of it was a lot of Sparkle and Lisa's story. So, I'll put Sparkle back up. We see Sparkle say how she introduced her niece to Robert. Her niece was 13. Now, when she said this, I said, bitch, what? If you've been around since the beginning, you knew what he been up to. When Sparkle, she said out her own mouth, I've been around since the beginning. And then she say, I brought my niece, who was 13 years old, around R. Kelly. Bitch, girl, bye. Okay, it made me mad because I felt like if you've been around that long, you have seen what has went on. You know what kind of person he is. Why would you bring your... She said that she brought her 13-year-old niece around him because she wanted him to help her with her career the same way he was helping her with her career. She wanted, again, R. Kelly to help her niece with her career the same way R. Kelly had helped her, Sparkle, with her career. She says at the time, her niece was like, Bow Wow, like, on that level of, what I'm saying, could be famous or whatever, and she wanted Robert to help nurture that. I said, girl, if you say so. He said, so I would bring my niece with me to the studio all the time, but I will always have my eye on her. She was never without me. It was so that she could see, what it took to, be a whole artist or whatever. I said, okay. She said, there was a few times I would come to the studio, or at least one time I came to the studio, and my niece was already there. And I said, what did you do here? Like, what happened? The niece then said, oh, I got dropped off. Robert's having some kind of party. His house is going to be other teenagers there. And so I'm going. And she said, I was pissed off. I was very, very upset because I didn't get why, he would be inviting my niece to parties or whatever. And she said, I just should have never introduced them or whatever. And, what I'm saying, I was mad. I was livid. I couldn't believe it. And I said, well, you brought her around. Like, he wouldn't even know who she was if it wasn't for you. So I feel like you saying, like, oh, I can't believe this happened, but you kind of made it happen. Like, you kind of helped it happen because you introduced them. And I feel like, how did he even get in contact with the niece, the mama, whoever else? It's just, well, I guess because Sparkle said she's been around since forever, so he must have just known who to call, girl. Just call whoever. But again, it's just something about how she was like, I got there and she was already there, and I was so upset. But again, I'm looking like, but you again brought her into that atmosphere. But whatever. We then see Lisa, who said, he would tell her if she loved him, she would do certain things. She would do certain things, allow certain things to be done to her. She brings up how he would film them having sex. He introduced her to threesomes and all this stuff. How they would go and have sex. just all over the place or whatever. She then says one time at the house, R. Kelly introduced her to a girl who was 16 years old. To her knowledge, the girl was 16. She said we was at the studio. He brought up the futon mattress into the studio and pulled out his camera and a tripod to record it. She says when he did that, she started crying because she did not want to, have a threesome with this girl because the girl looked young. She's like, and I didn't want to do it. And she says he was recording us doing things, having sex with each other, performing oral sex on each other. And she said, I just kept crying through the whole thing because I didn't want to do it. And he got mad at me and said, what I'm supposed to do is I can't watch this back with you crying on here. How he did not care that I was crying and I was unhappy. His issue was he can't watch it back and enjoy it because I'm crying. I was like, that is nasty. Anyway, she then says when the girl, and R. Kelly was having sex, whereas she thought this was the first time the girl was having sex with R. Kelly or her, she said the girl seemed familiar with what he liked and how he liked things being done, and it was more her and R. Kelly, the girl, the 16-year-old girl, and R. Kelly telling her what to do, and I was like, okay, she brings up again the girl was familiar with him sexually, meaning she knew that wasn't her first time having sex with him. She brings up how the three of them started frequently having sex in different locations in the studio, at his house. She also brought up the wood room, the same room from that dang on video that he was. So she knew things about his house. Cool. She says at that point in time, she realized she wasn't special. Okay. And she realized he was with Aaliyah. He was with me. He with this young girl too. Something ain't right. He like young girls. She says how the girl would be in the studio and so would her parents. And he would fake like he's just trying to help the girl or whatever. And he was really tricking the parents. And she said, because me and him was having sex with the girl. And, it was, I said, oh my, I couldn't, bruh. I would go to prison if a person was having sex with a kid in my family, bitch, and then adult, bitch. I'm going to jail, because they gonna have to put me up under, honey, up under the sea, okay, all up under. Oh my god, I was just so mad. Anyway, so again, it's like he's lying to her parents just so he can have sex with their daughter, with their child. She brings up how they weren't able to talk unless they were having sex. They were not allowed to communicate with each other. She says, so she the whole time thought the girl was like 16. She said, but one day there was, somewhere else, and the girl said she can't wait until she turns 16 because he was gonna get her a car. And she said, I said to her, well, aren't you already 16? And the girl said, no, I turned 15 and I'll be 16. And she said at that point it made her feel disgusting because they had been having sex with this girl for a while. Meaning at the time they was having sex with her, the girl was 14. Nasty, nasty, nasty. And she's like, I just felt disgusted. I could not believe it. They bring up how it was different journalists and different doctors or whatever saying how, he basically had this whole R. Kelly persona. It was R. Kelly and it was Robert, but he had this whole R. Kelly persona that he again hid his antics in plain sight. His freaky stage shows, the lyrics, the him with all the women. Even though you've seen him with adult women in videos, he really had teenage girls in real life. He was hiding in plain sight. So the ending of it is we see Sparkle, she just crying, saying how I should have never introduced R. Kelly to my niece. I can't believe what he did. I'm like, bitch, what'd he do? So we don't know what he did. I don't know if her niece was the girl on the video. We have to wait until episode 3 that comes on tomorrow and see what happened. But she was boo-hoo, crying. Just like, I can't believe it. I should have never introduced him to my niece. I cannot believe what he was doing. I'm looking like, bitch, what did he do? So tune in tomorrow. We'll find out what he did or whatever. Because who knows what his nasty ass is out here doing. I hope you guys enjoy this. Put your comments below. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. Peace.
He's like love, 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 and music.